Good morning, good morning. We are live. Hope you can hear me and see me properly. Tell me in the comments here if you're live, if anything is off, if you can't see or hear me properly. Sunday morning for those of you in Australia and Saturday evening for the majority of my subs in the US and in Europe. It's probably the middle of the night somewhere. Anyway, hope you're doing well. Today's topic is my thoughts on how long-term kind of autopilot, carousel, casual dating, non-stop, and just, crossing your fingers and just seeing how it goes, how it kind of ruins you and how it might affect you long-term. Now, I'm not saying it's not fun and all of that thing. Let me sort of just get that out of the way. So I realize that the majority of Western women out there, it's almost impossible to get anyone to take it seriously, even if you're trying to. But the point I would make is, if your intent firstly isn't to try and take it seriously or to get off autopilot and do it with some sort of intent, then you're just going to get those kind of results. It's the same as a hobby. If you take something as a casual hobby, you'll get the results of a hobby. But if you take it seriously, you will get much better, consistent results. And you'll know why with the habits you're going about it and how you conduct yourself in it. And I found dating was no different. I think what happens is that it's really freeing and fun to have the variety of different people you're socializing. It's like going to a club and you just have these little surprises of meeting people and interacting and hooking up and all of that sort of stuff. And it is a lot of fun. But to me, it's like watching Netflix all the time. It's just like you like doing the thing, but it's not about the specific choice you could make. And sometimes you could date someone for a bit of time, but again, it's if you're on autopilot and you don't date with any kind of intent, it's like binge watching your favorite series on Netflix, loving it, and then getting bored of it or going to something else. Ooh, a lot of sun just came out. The sun in Australia is very harsh. I've got auto exposure turned on in my camera. Not that that means much to the most of you. But I'm not saying I'm talking about the way I see most people, especially young people, dating. It's the norm. Again, I'm not sort of I know that the environment's changed. I wasn't born with online dating like everyone else is. I wasn't born with a cell phone in my hand or a tablet in my hand like people are today. They don't know the world without the internet. They don't know the world without a screen and swiping. It's just the way it is. So I understand that. I'm talking about the long-term effects of doing something repetitively and being comfortable with it. You can do it repetitively where you just don't socialize. You stay on your own. You talk to one or two people online and that's your little comfort zone and life is good and fine, right? But as long as you can sleep well and your health, your mental and physical health is fine, who am I to tell you what to do? But I see the majority of people who watch dating content and relationship content, they are really wanting to find something real and finding a partner and kind of getting off the variety carousel, saying that you're free and you're enjoying yourself, but you're really not. And you might have met someone that again was temporary, just like the person before and the person before that. But you feel like, you know what, that person, I could have gotten off the carousel with them, but neither of us did. We didn't communicate and we just kind of just kept going to the next person and the next person. And you believe it's just luck. And until you stop believing it's luck, or there's very little luck involved, there's much more skill involved if you make the stance that it is, then your dating life will improve and your ability to find a committed relationship will improve by the way you're going about it. That's what I'll say. those of you who follow my channel, you know what I'm saying, but I'm hoping that people that are stumbling in and finding my content for the first time will understand why I keep hammering this point home. If you learn to speak and know who you are and express those things, regardless of what the stats are out there, and I know the stats out there. Again, the stats out there, they're almost 100% true, and they will happen if you're on autopilot and you're just calibrating yourself towards, you're calibrating yourself with biology. That is, you're sleepwalking with your hormones out there and you're responding in that way. But if you're going in there with boundaries, with knowing who you are, with if something pops up in the conversation between you and Chicky Poo on the date and you don't agree with it, you don't just smile and say, yeah, me too, just because you want to date them. You actually say, no, I'm different. I'm not into that, or I don't like that. Or she might say she likes chocolate. You say, well, I like coffee. I'm not really a big fan of chocolate. There's ways of expressing yourself. This is why I always encourage people to speak better, because then you can articulate exactly who you are and what you feel to the person. The person won't see who you are if you don't say it, if you don't show it. If they're the wave and you're the cork that's kind of just going along with their wave, at the end of the day, like, the relationship crashes on the shore and it's like, well, relationships for you. It's a lot of it is our own fault. I'm speaking from experience as well. Auto exposure is effing up my autofocus, I've noticed. I'm not going to do this next time. Manual exposure is much, much better. If I try and edit this now, it's going to screw up, so I won't. I apologize if the focus is going in and out. Anyway, if you are here live and you would like to ask me a question during this stream on this topic here about your thoughts on continual casual dating. I understand if you've come out of a really big committed relationship and you need a break, you need time to stand up straight again, you need a bit of a holiday, you need a refresh, and you go out there, you socialize, you meet people, and you're both very honest about this just being temporary and things like that, fine. I'm talking about the people that think finding the one is randomly hooking up and just see if you magically fit together and lightning strikes. When you do meet, there's a bit of luck with coming across a person that's compatible for you. But if you don't talk, you won't really know if you're compatible. You'll just feel like, I enjoy being around this person, therefore I will start a committed relationship. And I have dated, most of my long-term relationships were with nice yet incompatible people, because I wasn't completely honest with saying my yeses and my nos. This autofocus is annoying me, guys. Anyway, nothing we can do. It keeps going in and out. Let me maybe, you know what? Yeah, whatever. Oh, you know what it is? I know what this is. I know what this is. This is completely my fault. The autofocus isn't on my eye. It's in the area because I changed it the other day. Anyway, I'll do my best. Don't worry, this won't happen again. I say as it happens again next week. All right. One thing that struck me about the carousel of not being focused on sort of dating with the intent of wanting a relationship is that you conveniently never have to make a choice. So if everyone's saying, well, it's not my fault, I'm just seeing what's out there. And while you do that, then conveniently, you don't get to practice making a choice. And this is what I wanted to focus on in this stream. It's this here. When you don't choose, you end up not trusting yourself either. And what I mean by that is that when you don't exercise choosing, and you never have to, because it's all fun and games and we're all just doing whatever and we're not communicating and it's all temporary, you never exercise making a choice and knowing why you want to make a choice. And then you don't trust yourself with choices because you never have to make one. Do you understand what I'm saying now? So you demoralize yourself over time. You become less and less confident of making choices and less confident or sure about what the right choice even is because I never make one and I never have to, and we're all doing the same thing. And as a result, you're less confident about your choices and who you are and if you're right and if they like me and should I like what I like? Should I want what I want? Should I express what I want? I don't know. I don't even know if that's the right choice anymore. Can you see how it snowballs into you just being a blank page for someone else to write on? And this will get people to be taken advantage of more and more and more because they're not being who they are and making their choices and saying, nice meeting you, no thank you. They're just saying, well, nice meeting you. I'll just be dragged along by this. Let's see what happens. Let me commit to this person because I don't hate them. Therefore, I should commit to them. It's a lot of wolf in sheep's clothing. This, if you don't get good at making little choices, and even if you screw up, big deal. At least you're trying to make a choice. You're trying to pick what's right. You're trying to say your yeses and your nos. And even if you screw up on them, at least you're intentional about trying to do that. Whereas when you're floating around and letting people drag you left and right and being the nice guy, and later on the best you can do is say, well, they were bad, women are bad, society's bad, I'm the nice person and they took advantage of me. Yeah, people will give you their sympathy, but that's all you get from life. Loneliness and sympathy from strangers. All of us on the same page saying, yeah, you're right. I was just agreeable and said yes to everything. I wanted to say no, but no, I didn't. It's really important to make choices. And casual dating perpetually and thinking this is the way to do things, while there's a lot of variety and fun, you never have to make a choice and you lose your confidence in making choices and knowing who you are and what you want and, you know, getting on your own platform and saying, yes, no, I don't want to do that. Let's go here. Hang on a minute. I matter too. These were some of the moments I found with a partner where my reflex from the past was to just be agreeable and say, yeah, okay, we'll do whatever you want. They ask me a question and I just say, yeah, your thing sounds good. And then at some point I was like, no, I really want to do the opposite. I want to choose B, but they want to choose A. And they expect me to go along with choice A that they want. And when I said, no, you know what? I really genuinely want B. And I wasn't saying it in a bad way. It's just they asked me, so I gave my honest opinion and they didn't like it. And then I started to say, hang on a minute. I'm just giving you my opinion. I have every right as two people in this relationship to give my opinion. And the moment I, for once, say, how about my way? How about considering me? They don't like it. That tells you a lot. And you get a feeling of righteousness like, no, this isn't fair. 90-something% of the time I'm agreeable. I go along with things because I'm an easygoing guy. The one time we're in a situation or somewhere where, you know what, I might not get this opportunity again. I really want to voice my opinion. I want to choose this and they don't like it. That tells you a lot. That starts to get you to stand up for yourself. Standing up for your choices is really, really liberating. Freedom, I think, is overrated. Knowing what to choose when you have freedom, that's different. But if you never get to choose, which is why I come back to this topic about being conditioned with just going with the flow of whatever dating and other people are, without having any kind of direction or any kind of intent, I think you waste your time over the long term. Short term, if you're fine with random strangers and you know what you're doing and you're not, during your casual dating, you keep complaining about, I can't find the one, where are all the good women or men, all women are the same. If you want serious, date serious. talk serious, choose serious. Don't just choose the physical. If your standards and the way you're going about things is one way, you're going to get the results of that. So let me know your comments if you're here live, and I'll go through your comments. If you would like to ask me a question, guys, by the way, and you're here live, put 3 brightly colored, 3 yellow circles or smiley faces before your comment or question to me, and I'll try my best to answer it. Otherwise, talk amongst yourselves. So I'll look for, let me see. I'll look for any of your comments here. Let's see. Melee says, you need to define what is a long-term relationship. Again, what is it for you? This kind of conversation is great. Like these kind of questions, this directness, if you're on a date, asking these kind of questions to the other person and them asking you, I think it's great. You're getting to be specific. You're really making it personal and individual. Like this person isn't saying dating memes on a date just to keep it going so we can get to the bedroom. They're actually asking me questions that I, the individual, find interesting. I want to answer. I want to tell you what I think about this. So these kind of questions like Melee's asking are really important. What is a long-term relationship for you? For some people, a long-term relationship generally is the same for most people, but be specific. A long-term relationship to you might be leading into marriage and children. It might be religious. It might have a lot of things connected to it and foundations to it. For some other person, a long-term relationship is exclusivity might be the only factor, and everything else is negotiable. Whereas with you, no, I've got very definite foundations, whereas another person's a bit more flexible. You need to discuss this kind of stuff. But that's the kind of question we need to be asking. Hello to the regulars. Vero, Rocket, Melee, David P, how are you? Yeah, my lighting. I've turned on auto exposure, which I won't anymore. It's a bit up and down. Oh well, try something new. Boffin, how are you? Luke, Big Ol. Oh, which reminds me, Big Ol. No, it wasn't Big Ol. Yeah, Big Ol did ask a question a while ago. On an old, I think I forgot to read out your comment a few streams ago, Big Ol, about my stream Infatuation and Love and how to tell the difference between infatuation and love. And his answer was time, taking your time. I'm not sure if I read that out. I might have, I'm not sure. But that is a big one. You want to know if it's real or if your relationship has legs. Take the time to find out if it's real. See over time if the pretty words and the promises the person made on the first, second, and third date, see if they start contradicting themselves. See if what they say in their words and their values, see if it translates into real life. If they're saying, I'm such a kind and nice person and people take advantage of me, yet they're always screaming at the waiters and they're talking badly of their co-workers and they're complaining about everything, you can tell it's BS. So it's a way for you, again, to make a better choice. Observe, use your head, and trust your judgment. But most importantly, as I keep going on about, learn how to speak and articulate yourself. Otherwise, if you're lost for words, you'll be a deer in headlights and you'll just say, yep, whatever you want. She'll get angry. She'll say something or she'll put you on the spot. You don't know how to answer and you'll just say nothing, or you'll go along with it. And then she'll get used to you being that person on those subjects. And then later on, if you finally have the courage to speak up for yourself, they'll say, well, where did this come from? How come you never showed me this before? Where was this person? And they have every right to feel a little bit betrayed because you didn't you didn't show them who you were right from the start. Otherwise, neither of you may have wasted the time being with each other. Find out as as intentionally as possible right from the start, peel the onion back. Be interested to ask questions on everything to do with lifestyle and relationships. To me, it's fun. It's the whole reason that those first few dates, the honeymoon period, is there. It is fun. There is so much optimistic potential. There's so much expectations, right? A lot of it might be delusional, but the only way the expectations are going to meet realities if you keep digging and peeling the onion and finding out whether or not you're compatible. Those expectations, you start asking questions, and after a while, it's like, I hoped you'd be like this, and you were. Or you have things that I didn't expect, but they're even bonuses. And they come out through conversation and being open and honest with each other. It can sound kind of a bit Oprah and woo-woo, but really learning to speak and expressing who you are without apology, and you learn to articulate yourself like I'm trying to do in these streams, but politely and very civilly. You feel proud of yourself, and you communicate yourself as best as possible, and the other person is impressed not just by your articulation, but also by the fact that they are hearing you as clearly as possible. They are seeing you as clearly as possible. You're painting as clear a picture as possible, and you feel good about that. You feel proud about that, and through the back and forth conversation, you start to understand, yeah, they understand what I'm saying. More importantly, I'm expressing myself well, and they do understand what I'm saying. So I'm proud of myself, and I'm happy that they see me clearly. And at the end of the day, that's the struggle that people have when they date, is, does the person understand me? And there's no point saying, well, guys don't get me or girls don't get me, and you don't talk and you say whatever, and you talk about bullshit like the mundane stuff that's inoffensive, like the weather and the food and holidays you've been on and people in general, and oh my God, kids today and social media, blah, blah, blah. You talk about all this stuff over the horizon that has nothing to do with this inner world that they're potentially going to be involved in. Talk about your inner world with the person, your fears, your hopes, all that sort of stuff. And again, you don't get there by the casual dating of really not having to peel the onion back. When you're casual dating and you're just hooking up, you can pretend to be someone else. You don't have to really reveal anything. You can just agree with whatever they want because you think, I just want to bang them. I want to date them casually. They're not important. They're a pastime. They're entertainment. I don't take them seriously. I'm entertained with this person I'm casually hooking up with. They're really not anyone I'm going to introduce to family or friends. There's someone I keep as either a dirty little secret at worst, or just, a casual acquaintance. They're as good as an acquaintance at work, but you're banging them. They're that clinically at a distance, And yeah, for me, it's a waste of time. Again, you do it once or twice. The analogy I would use is like a holiday. Holidays are great, but even most of us, we go on holiday, we want to come back home within a couple of days or a couple of weeks. For those of us who have a sense of, we like our home, we know where home is, we know who we are, where our roots and foundations are, holidays are refreshing, but very quickly it's like, yeah, this is repetitive. I'm over this. But a lot of people just stay on holiday and try to repeat that initial day on holiday over and over again with different people while they and this is what I mean about casual dating ruining you over time. But one thing that I really stuck out to me, and I showed you this before, was that the choice. You don't get to practice choosing when you're casual dating. Okay, you might be choosing people to hook up with, but nothing's important. No choice is important. Nothing is meaningful. You can just lie and go along with the hot chick because she's hot and, say everything she wants to hear, and it's not going to affect you. They're not going to be part of your life. And the effects it has on you, both conditioning you to nothing more than, it's kind of like test driving cars. You never own a car. It's sleeping temporarily like a nomad. A few nights here, a few nights. You're always on the go. And after a while, you're tired. I've seen everything. I've been everywhere. I want to call somewhere home. And if you've been doing it for too long, you won't know how. You really won't. Because knowing where home is means that you need to make a choice to sit still for a while, to get off the carousel. And if you're too scared to get off the carousel and try being a bit more stationary and leading a life that our grandparents are always telling us to lead. No, I'm not talking religiously, but slowing down, smelling the roses, learning how to have meaningful conversations, knowing who your friends are, knowing why you're doing things, your sleep improving, things like that, instead of being a hyperactive teenager all the time, not a care in the world. That's not real freedom to me. It's fun, but it's not freedom. Big Ol has a question. Your thoughts on passport bros? That's actually a topic I've talked to Stephanie about, and I'll probably make a video on that in the future. I don't think, personally, just in a nutshell, and I'll expand on this in a video in the future, I don't see the point, because I never found women or relationships that important that I would spend thousands of dollars to go overseas and all that money, time, and effort to kind of hook up. But if you really want to start a family, you're getting older, you've established yourself, and you've intentionally really tried with Western women here, and it's pointless. If it's worth it for you and you're fine with that kind of intent of buying tickets and going to places, where you want to look for a wife, or if you want to go there and live there and start a family there, or if you bring them over here, what kind of a nationality and things like that. If you're really doing your homework and it's really worth it for you time-wise and financially, then fine. For me personally, I tried the best with what I had here, and I kind of gave up. But for me, it was a bit of luck coming across Stephanie, because she contacted me from across the world. It was like us finding each other was luck. But once we came across each other, we were both the same kind of people that saw something, and we kept wanting to make it work. Now, if I was the person that really just wanted a relationship so badly that I've exhausted things here in the West like I had, I may have tried, but I didn't find relationships that important. I enjoyed them and I would like to have had somebody, but I kind of gave up. I think that if you've tried and you still have fuel in the tank, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, depending on how you're going about it. I may or may not agree with you. Going overseas just for bedding women, if you're hooking up with women casually here and you're tired of it, and you think the answer is to hook up with women overseas again on autopilot and see what happens, I would advise against it. I think it's just a waste of time and money. But if you're like, you know what, I love traveling, I want to go to Thailand, I enjoy the experience of going there, and by the way, I can bang some chicks too, and I don't care, and you're doing the same thing here, yeah, do what you want. But yeah, I'll make a video about it in the future. They're my overall thoughts. I'm just taking a look if there's any other comments. Remember, if you'd like to make a comment, put 3 smiley faces before your comment to me. Across says, what you say is true, but remember, there's also the so-called third choice. Sometimes I would agree that not choosing is also a choice. That's true. But if you're curious enough to be aware of, trying all the time to be honest with your words and to be honest with what you want, your yeses and your nos, that'll serve you better than being a whatever person that goes along with anything because you think dating is luck from start to finish. from coming across the person to, if you want to get married and have kids, happily ever after. You've got no control. It's about, you pray to the gods every day that the gods will keep your relationship intact. If you're that kind of person, you're not my kind of person. As in, we don't think the same. The more I stubbornly tried to control myself in dating, that's important, not the other person. All these dude bros out there who talk about game and she's got to be in your frame, you're kind of like trying to keep a dog on the leash. For me, it's about keeping yourself on the leash, and because another person won't want to be around you. If you're always the same kind of stubborn dog, they get frustrated with you very quickly. But if they're compatible with you, if they're your type of dog, you'll match. So it's about you controlling yourself, not other people. It really is. The more I controlled my own actions and impulses and desires, because a lot of times we excuse our impulses and desires and our addictions, and we say, well, not my fault. I just like what I like, and I date what I date, and it's them. Why can't that stripper be nicer? Why can't that stripper have no kids? Or why can't she be a virgin? Man, be realistic and date with a bit more clarity and a bit more realism in line with what you want. Stop complaining about the results you don't get, but how you're going about it, you'll never get it. Yeah, stop going to New York and complaining about the noise. I don't know, poor analogy, but you know what I mean. Date differently. Why not? Try it. What do you got to lose? You go back and do the same things again and again and again, and then keep bitching about it. It's like, try something else. Do it as you, but try something else. Get off that train, try another one. Pause for a while just to think, at least do that. Get off that carousel for a while and just watch and observe and think and have a look around. Is there another carousel that I can jump on? Not just like there's only one carousel in town. That's what I hear a lot of guys like, well, all women. Really? It's just one carousel. It's like there's only, you have to put up with that. Do you? Well, even just getting off the carousel and being on your own is 10 times better. How about getting off on your own and having a look around and, forgot my coffee. Or actually, chai latte. Still don't know if I like it. Too spicy. We can complain all we want about, the 304s or the 403s. I always get confused which ones they are. But the bad women out there. But again, you're complaining about things you shouldn't pick, and you wouldn't pick, and you'd laugh at anyone picking. So why? What's the point? Start laughing at women who aren't as bad. Like they get your standards clearer and really good. We can all agree with the worst kind of people. It's not the point. You'd be crazy to go out with them. Are you familiar with Aaron Clarey? Yeah, I've seen one or two of his videos. He recommended casting a wide net. Good for you too. Being open-minded, yeah, but I think you should kind of realistically know who you are, your lifestyle, and know what matches you, as opposed to what your hormones just want. Just like, when you're on autopilot, you want what you want. But wanting what we want, and it's always leading us to crash into a wall and repeat the same kind of pattern, isn't good. Being open-minded in terms of casting a wide net, yes. Being objective and, not too stubbornly like, I just like what I like and you're impulsive and things like that. But I wouldn't say accepting too much. Don't cast it too wide. Like, for instance, you've got the primal thing. You might be like myself. I'm attracted to brunettes or European-looking women. There are other women who are far down the totem pole. I'm not just going to try and intentionally date I don't know, like blondes and redheads, or, you know, people from other nationalities, as some sort of diverse game, just to see where for me, it's mostly about personality and character. And also, yeah, their nationality might play into the familiarity of of my upbringing and things like that. There are those things, but superficially casting your net wide, I think, is a bit silly, because it doesn't really matter. Casting your net wide in terms of being more open-minded in terms of character, and not saying, well, I only date these kind of hot-looking women, and only after that will I consider their personality. Well, a lot of those hot-looking bimbos, you won't find any kind of good or kind personality anyway. So casting your net wider in things like personality, I would agree with, if you'd never done it before. Real name's not given says, intention and expectations are rarely shared when dating. And that is scary when you think about it. Why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't that be the sole purpose? Things like that. Expectations and intent. Oh no, don't have expectations. Oh no, all men and all women. Oh, all relationships. You know, the divorce, that, like, there's a million and one excuses to be lazy and turn up as a lemming, and then complain why they didn't see the real you. Why did she just treat me like a lemming? Well, you turned up as one. You just didn't say anything. You didn't want to offend them. And probably the same is true for women, where they really like the superficial qualities of the guy or how he looks, and they just smile and agree with everything he likes. And guys do the same thing. It's only when you get off that, you splash cold water on your face, and you want to be there and have fun intentionally, as you saying the words you're saying and responding to jokes and listening to what they say, and then you responding exactly how you want depending on what you've just heard, rather than automatically responding like you were a 5-year-old, like your parents, they say please and you say thank you, or when guests come over when you were young, you know how to be polite and cordial and, you know, etiquette and things like that. Get off the autopilot responses. Be there in real time, you know. Observe, listen, talk, give your honest answers. And if you speak better, that'll become easier. If you don't speak better, or you have no interest in speaking better and expressing exactly who you are, the other person's not going to see it. And you can complain till you're blue in the face about what women are like and what men are like. But if you're not exactly telling them who you are with your words, it's you. It really is. Oh, they don't see me. Well, did you tell them? No, but, you know, the vibe. Or you men know. No, they don't. Women know. No, they don't. But you'll get upset. Who cares? It's better to be honest. Then at least you'll know she doesn't like you for an actual, specific, real reason, rather than this bullshit that goes on about having to mind read and men and women should know each other better. Who cares? Really, who cares? Doesn't matter. I was tired of wasting my time with these kind of generalities that might work when you're observing the human race, like the wildlife documentary. Play David Attenborough in terms of an intellectual curiosity about the human race and how we date. But when you get on that date, it's all about you talking and being honest and listening and insisting that you both reveal who you are. And if you don't, if you're just sleepwalking through it, if you turn up with a mask, wanting to get the job, you know, pretty please don't leave, then you're always going to be going to work, walking on eggshells, trying not to lose your job, and turning up to your relationship like a job, wearing a mask. And you just get into the mode. All the time you turn up the same way, you do your job, you do your tasks, and you feel lonely while you're with someone. And you can't wait to have some time away from them where you can really be you. Work on being you as much as possible in front of the other person. It's so much more liberating when you're yourself 100% in front of your partner, compared to thinking back where I was doing the right thing and I was being a good boyfriend and they could never say anything bad about me, but somehow it felt awkward and I was walking on eggshells and never felt like I was getting anywhere, and I wasn't sure if they should meet my family, and, you know, I need some time away, and you keep your life separate. You're not like this because you don't reveal anything. You play it a bit safe because, I don't know, some people think that other people won't like what they see inside. Or, hey, Karu, how are you? Peg, how are you? Okay. On this topic, this one about also, I encourage people to listen to the last conversation I had on my chat channel, a fairly long, went for nearly 2 hours, I think it was. I had a chat with Spetsnaz, and we were talking about breaking old patterns, which ties into this, going on autopilot, and the things that work for you when you were young don't really work for you now, and kind of don't feel really good. I know you like what you like, but sometimes what you liked when you were young isn't really what you like anymore. It doesn't fit you. Your lifestyle and your hobbies and things are kind of like clothes. They fit well once, and they were in fashion even for you once, but now they're not. And just something doesn't feel right. And if you don't look at squarely in the mirror and identify this, like, I'm tired of wearing this. This is... I'm actually making fun of women and other guys who do this. I'm doing the same thing. Evaluate where you are now, right? What you believe, like men, women, your ethics and your morals regarding dating and your rules. Do you really believe them? If you do, great. At least if you've reevaluated them, you do. But just trusting that you believe the same things that were 100% true when you were 20 and now you're 30, 40, 50, and you think, well, I know myself, and if I was certain then, I'm certain now. What's the harm in revisiting your assumptions? If they're 100% certain, great. You've just reinforced it and you're that much more certain. But I think a lot of people just they won't like what they find if they realize, I've been wasting the last 10 years dating the same way, or sleepwalking through life, or I spent the last decade in the same job. I've been wanting to leave for 10 years. I've been unhappy for 10 years and I've done nothing in my private life. I've wanted to travel for 20 years and I've never had the courage to do it. I've just always had an excuse like, oh, I just need to do this first. Or I need to finish this first one day. No. Reevaluate where you are now. Time doesn't care. Time's disappearing. Time becomes that much more important as you get older. It's a cliche, but it does. Salem says, communication is key number one, but what if the person you're dating can't deliver a straight answer on a simple question and instead takes the indirect gaslighting route? Well, that tells you a lot. If they're just shy, if you can genuinely tell this person's awkward, they're trying, they're not avoiding topics, they're not gaslighting you. If you ask them simple questions, they can't answer honestly, but they can intelligently and very bravely talk about other stuff and other people, and they have very particular, girl power or bossy or very sort of brave stances, and, they're very outspoken on other things. But the moment you try and ask them to talk that way about themselves, or even 50% of that way, that's like nothing. They don't want to talk about their past. My last ex was like this. Had a job where she was in the therapy industry. She was she was dealing with trauma patients. And when I met her, I thought, oh, well, this person's used to revealing the inner world because she has to be to do her job well. She was intelligent. No, anytime I asked about her past and relationships and how and why and what happened, what she learned, no, I don't want to talk about it. I've dealt with that. And it was all like, no, that's in the past. Therapeutically, I've dealt with it. Now I'm a different person. I've moved on. It's like, no, why are you afraid to talk about it? I'm not denying that maybe you have moved on, but why are you afraid to talk about something? I'm not going to ask you to reveal painful stuff, but just tell me who you are now in relation to it. So, if the person is gaslighting and indirect because you could tell they're intentionally doing it versus someone who's just shy, if you can still talk to them and they're trying and they're apologetically trying and they're trying to tell you, but if they're avoiding, that's something else. What if the person you're dating does that? Yeah, then that tells you a lot. You shouldn't be dating them, I would say. Again, do what you want. But you should be, if you're watching my content and we're having these kind of discussions, you know that self-evidently that's a red flag where you probably shouldn't see them again and they're not a match for you, especially if you want to be honest. How are you supposed to commit to somebody? Let me be frank here. How can you trust someone if they constantly gaslight and you've got to agree with their gaslighting and you've got to play musical chairs all the time? You can't trust them because you don't know tomorrow if they're going to pull the musical chairs out. They're going to change the game. They're going to move the goalposts. They've got to be consistent. And even if they're shy, they've got to show an effort to want to answer your questions, to want to be with you, to want to show an effort and be honest and talk and listen and try and understand you. But if it's just gaslighting and shame, that should tell you everything. It really should. But this is real. This happens a lot. That avoidant people love to gaslight, and the more intelligent they are, they can find words and phrases. I could gaslight really well if I wanted to. I got a good vocabulary, and I can cleverly, if I notice the person's shy and doesn't have a big vocabulary, or they don't find words or phrases or writing that interesting, I can dominate them with my vocabulary pretty easily. But it all depends. And some of these people might be doing it defensively. They're not doing it because they want to be malicious. They use their smartness and their vocabulary to avoid showing you who they are. If you can't ask them simple questions for them to reveal their inner world, then what's the point? What are you committing to? If they're just a female body and they won't talk about what's inside, what's meaningful, then okay, I can understand why most guys treat most women like bodies, because that's all they show up as. But also with guys, you can't complain about being treated as a wallet or a doing machine if that's all you respond to. You just say yes to everything they want you to do, and you pay for everything on dates, and you never talk about what's inside. It's both people's fault. But again, the only thing you can change is yourself. You could go out with bimbos that are idiots and over again say, well, I can't help it. I just like these dumb, empty people. I guess they're safe. Not really. Because if one of them gets accidentally pregnant or thinks something else the next day, and you have the police knocking at your door saying you did something to her when you didn't, it's, again, dumb idiots can be really, really dangerous. Whereas, I don't know, I suppose there's some sort of rationality with a smart idiot. Not a smart idiot, a smart sociopath. I don't know. Know yourself, change yourself. It's the best way forward. Any final questions, guys, relating to your thoughts on casually dating over and over again and what it did to you, or how you see it can condition you? As I said, the big thing that stands out to me is that you don't get to make your choices, because you're never choosing. You're just kind of having fun in a big sea of people. You're at a party, dancing with people, flirting with people, and you're never taking anyone home. You're never choosing anything. You're never keeping anything. I feel like dating now is everyone's at this big club, pashing, hooking up, moving on to the other. Like, nothing's kind of kept. Everything's just temporary and fun, and you're free and everything. And no one's picking anything. No one's choosing. And when the muscle of choice atrophies to a point where you can't even do it anymore. You don't even know what a choice is. You don't even trust yourself to make a choice and know that it's the right thing. And a lot of people, they'll push back with this stuff to me and say, well, what's the point of choosing a woman if she can do blah, blah, blah? So, okay, you don't want to make a choice. Okay, then stop complaining about this nightclub party that you all enjoy being with. Stop complaining that you don't get happily ever after and you never want to leave the nightclub. You don't want to date in any other way. So you can't point to inevitable stats in a convenient way if you are going about things really lazily. This autofocus is really annoying me. But don't worry. Calm down, human. All right. I will read some comments. Where are they? Let me read some comments from... I should have done this before, shouldn't I? Related to this topic of how casual dating can affect you long term. Gus says, skills necessary to attract people in the short term are very different from the skills that actually maintain relationships in the long term. If you only do casual dating, you never get to practice the skills you need to build something that actually lasts. Not to mention, more sexual partners correlate with a higher chance of divorce and lower marital satisfaction. Yeah, a different tact on what I was generally talking about just before. If you're always doing things a certain way, you become very good at that, and you're less good or completely unaware of how to do things any other way. Whatever you watch, the 5 people you hang around with, that's who you are. The entertainment that you keep watching, if you're watching Fresh and Fit and Pearly things and you're just watching people fight with each other, that's the thoughts that are going to come out of your mouth. That's what you're going to believe. That's what you're excited about. That's what gets you feeling alive, and that's what you want to start talking about with people. And if you come across a person that's normal, that's not into that stuff, you won't have anything to say and you won't find them interesting, and both of you won't be able to talk at all, nor even know how to ask questions to each other. So, you know what I mean? Like you lose the skills. The more you spend time in one area where you're honing the skills, you're exercising certain muscles. I can't be doing lat pull downs at the gym every single day, and then kind of wondering why my legs are like toothpicks. You're exercising one muscle all the time. You have to work the other one intentionally. I think that's a good analogy. David P. says, after 58 years of being on this rock and 40 plus years of dating, I'm finally learning to be my authentic self. That term authentic self, I mean nothing. It's like, I like the word, but it's been used so much by kind of Oprah memes that you kind of cringe, but what other word can you kind of say that describes what we mean? But I get what you mean, David. He says, casual dating didn't work for me because I was always trying to fulfill a role. Yes, I understand that. I was there too. Wanted to be the good boyfriend. If I did things perfectly, then she would dance the same way, and then I would have a perfect relationship. So if I do my 1-2 steps as a guy in this dance perfectly, and she does hers, then we're going to be a perfect couple. No, it doesn't work that way. You end up doing all the steps, and you're not dancing. Now I'm working on being myself from the start and having better dating results. Exactly. You will have better dating results. This goes for everyone. Just be yourself at the start. Be polite. Articulate exactly who you are. People will take you or leave you, and it'll be polite. You don't need to be an asshole. You don't need to use people, and you will be prouder of yourself. And you won't go forward like bitching about dating. You'll have a sense of control because you will be rejecting the women that previously you gave a chance, but now you don't anymore. So the amount of horror stories you have, the amount of being used, those stories just kind of start to fall away. And they start to be more interesting, nuanced stories of like, they were okay, but they were into this and that. And I recognized that while she was a nice person, like, it was going to go nowhere. They're more interesting conversations to me than the car crash stories that everyone can laugh at. These clickbaity stories online that try and teach you dating, they're not. They're obvious train wrecks. The more edifying stuff is close but no cigar. They're nice, but I know it's not going to work. We're both two nice people, but we will learn to hate each other because we're not compatible. Those are the interesting conversations when you're aware of who you are and what you want. That's the educational stuff. I wish people had more conversations around that. Vero says, dating isn't for me anymore. And for one good reason. I'm just tired of getting the opposite of what is expected, and I'm empathic when she experiences the same results. Finding the complete package is scarce. Look, I agree. It is very scarce. As I said, I gave up myself. It was luck I came across Stephanie, but it wasn't luck once I did how I was going to give this thing a chance again. And it was my choice to do it or not. I could have been in the position where I was so over it that I was like, yep, you seem like everything I was looking for before, but you know what? I'm over it. It depends on where you are, but I agree. Like, I don't have much against guys who kind of give up and they've honestly tried, because the quality of people out there, guys and girls, but from a guy's point of view, a heterosexual guy, most women out there, their expectations that they've been told by their parents, society, and Beyonce is just through the roof. It's ridiculous. You ask them why. Like, okay, you want this. Like, why can't I ask for even 10% of that? It's like, well, that's... You know what the attitude out there is like? Women want the world, and the moment you ask for 10% of normal, it's like they look at you as though, you want something out of this relationship? You creep. It's almost like you're a creep for wanting anything. And you just want a little bit. I'll give you 80%, sweetheart, but why can't you give me 20? It's just an excuse to be lazy and entitled, basically to be a princess. Women don't like the term. They don't like it exactly because they are acting like that. They're spoiled princesses, and they don't think they should lift a finger for the common peasant. You need to make yourself into a prince. Anyway, it's hard. I'm not denying it's hard, but for your own self-respect and so you can sleep at night and enjoy your single life, man. But operate differently if you get the chance, if you're lucky enough to come across someone and talk a certain way, an intentional certain way, and then that'll give you the best chance of knowing if it's real or not. If you're on autopilot, if you're on the casual dating mode, it's just going to probably end the same way, because you don't talk. You're interpreting each other through your own fiction. You don't actually ask questions to clarify. You observe and you make up your own answers. Well, when they say this, they mean this. When women do this, they mean this. You don't actually care what Jane thinks. You just care what women think, and you go about your relationships with a person in generalities rather than specifics. Specifically knowing why you're with someone and how you interact, that's kind of the lifeblood of trusting them. I don't trust Stephanie because of what I know about women. I trust Stephanie because of what I know about her as an individual. And if you guys never talk about that, you'll never trust yourself to trust the person you're with. If you're trying to trust the person you're with based on trusting women, of course you don't trust the person you're with, because you don't trust strangers out there. And most people out there are trash. Mele Nico says, you need casual dating to get to long-term dating. You need dating to get to long-term, yes, but not necessarily casual. What I mean by casual is just having fun on the merry-go-round, being on holiday and enjoying yourself and not really being serious about it. That's what I mean. But yes, you need to date to get to long-term. You need to vet people. He continues, words are easy. I want serious relationship. Yeah, if you want serious relationship, then talk on dating. And also on your dating profile, be very intentional about the words you use, what you want. You're not going to get many results. It's already hard for guys to date. If you're very intentional about the way you date, you're going to get even less results. That's the reality. The more vague and whatever you are on dating, you're going to get more, not much more, but it's still going to be hard. You're going to reduce your chances, but you're going to own it. And anyone who responds to you, you can say, well, I advertise myself exactly. I am talking exactly about who I am and what I want. If you want to lie, it's on you. Someone who lies can't stay with someone who's honest for very long. It irritates them. They want to mostly for you to go on along with their lies. They want you to be as vague as they are. They want you casually dating and not talking about anything specific, like my ex, who didn't want to talk about her past, didn't want to talk about what was inside. They want to keep it all surface. If you meet someone like that, it's your own fault if you're ignoring that stuff. Any last questions? And we can wrap this stream up. Again, I encourage you guys to have a look and listen to the discussion I had with Spetsnaz a couple of weeks ago. It was really interesting. We covered some really good points about moving on and breaking old patterns, taking the recoverable risks, things you can reverse maybe that you never did before because of data and stats and you're a bit worried. But really, what's the worst that can happen? You can recover. Or at least say, okay, I'm going to give this much of a chance, and if it completely fails, I'll lose this much, and I'm going in with my eyes open, knowing I could lose that much if it doesn't work out. But don't just jump in the deep end without knowing. So watch that video, and let me know what you think in the comment section about, oh, did you hear that? In the comment section about today's stream. What's your experience with casual dating? What it's done to you over time? How you see it unfolding? What you lose as a person anymore? You might want really good things, but if you're acting like something in the gutter, but you're wanting something really refined and good, you're not going to get it. You're just not. Like your hobbies, treat them like a hobby. You'll get the results of a hobby. Treat them seriously. You'll get the results of something you take seriously. So, enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. I'm just having a look. Any last comments or questions? Across says, I think dating over and over can be like anything in life where you end up indulging yourself too much into it. The danger is where you start becoming defined by it. Yes. Anyway, glad to catch you live. Glad you came up along across. That's true. Think about people who get deep into a church or deep into a marriage where they're not happy and they just kind of get stuck, and it's like cement and they can't get out. You just live with it. You'd like something else, but you don't know how. You're too afraid, and the fear of the unknown, and you don't have the language, and you're really good at staying where you are in concrete. And this is familiar. It's not too bad. It's tolerable. Yeah, I can do this till the rest of my life until I die. Really? Really? Oh, waste your life if you want. Real name's not given. If you can't fart around your partner, you're in a casual relationship. If she stays in the room, she may be a keeper. Well, then Stephanie's a keeper. All right, guys. Any last questions? Let me check if there's any super chats. Have I missed any super chats? David became a member. Thanks for that, David. I think you were a member before as well, weren't you? All right. How long have we been going? Well, actually, let me see. Have I missed anything? Oh, Dutch Bastard last week. He asked me, has Stephanie taught me any Dutch? She did at the start, but I've lost most of it. I think I know the basics like good morning, good evening, good night, please, thank you, all of the polite stuff, but I'll probably say it badly, so I'm not going to. Something like, all right, good morning is goeiemorgen. Goedenavond is good night, and no. Yeah, it is. And goeiemiddag is a good afternoon, I think it is. And then there's alsjeblieft, which is thank you or hello. Please. You see, I'm bad. But yeah, I'm a bit rusty. But I remember at the start when I went to Holland, I wanted to learn some of the basics so I could understand the very basic pleases and thank yous and stuff like that. But It's a very difficult language to learn. It's similar to German, but with German, there's a staccato nature of you can tell where one word ends and the other word starts. Whereas with Dutch, every word seemingly flows into the next, even though they're separate words. But the way it's fluently spoken, it's really challenging. It's a very advanced kind of language. It's kind of advanced German, and I think German's already advanced enough. Yeah, I know a few words, enough to do the very basics, but I'm terrible. Yeah. All right, guys, I think that's it. Yeah, put the glasses on now when it's all over, human. Any last comments? I don't think so. Call Me Ishmael says, oh man, you found a broad and think she's different. Well, she is different. But I think what happens is guys think that, I agree that most women are the same, but look, is your mum like every other mum? Is your brother like every other guy? Is every person a lemming of everyone else? I know that people have male and female nature and they exhibit it to one degree or another, but to think that every single person is the exact cookie cutter, all you have to do is look at a couple that's better than another couple. When you dated women, were they all exactly the same, or was one a big train wreck, and one was less of a train wreck? And why? Did you talk more? Did you communicate better? But this kind of language, I think, keeps a lot of guys stuck in the dating world. And if you have this, fine, keep rotating train wrecks that think the same way. Girls think guys are all the same, and guys think girls are all the same. Have fun. I don't care. Tari Dean says, don't worry, human. I'm learning Dutch too. I can relate. Yeah. It is challenging. Yeah. Is she right for you? That is what counts. For instance, I love drawing. It's like everyone's very particular. When you find out what works, and then if you can communicate and connect with someone and find those little peculiar connections and compatibilities, that's what tends to work. Then the life I had when I was single fits in with Stephanie because her life is almost the same. And so it's very easy to get along with that person. But if I have to change my life upside down because the pretty person I'm dating is so different, so we both have to play tug of war to pull each other over to our side. Like, you know, the only way I'm going to be happy is to pull her over to my side a lot, and she's going to pull me to her side a lot, so we don't lose who we are. That's how most people date. And then you kind of say, well, they're all the same, because everyone just wants the other person to be completely in their frame, which is stupid. You have to. Compatibility is so underrated, and everyone just thinks it should be there. Just like being kind and polite. People think, well, that just comes with everyone you date. You should just all be polite and compatible. You're not. A lot of people are arseholes. A lot of people aren't compatible with you. It's not just, I'm an introvert, she's an introvert, therefore let's get married and have kids. It's, you're an introvert, great. I am creative. I see life like this. I do want kids. I don't want kids. I want to get married. I don't want to get married. I'm open to marriage. I'm completely against it. I want to live in this country. I don't. Like, there's so many factors that in aggregate can make you feel like I'll give this a chance. She's a lot different to the next person. If you don't talk, if you don't honestly reveal your values and what you want out of life, yes, we're all the same. We're all people who don't talk, who don't reveal who we are, who are afraid to be honest. And it's better to just put this temporary Karen Chad mask on, sleep with each other, move on, and feel like you never lose anything. Your heart's never broken. And you've always got this excited choice up ahead with the next date, You know, you're just watching Netflix movies. That's all you're doing. You're having fun. Yeah. And the excuse is, you know, I think that I found a unicorn. It's not a unicorn. It's a unicorn if you're on autopilot. You're trying to win the lottery. But if you're dating with intent, it's much more about skill. It is still very, very hard. But your dating experience is better because you're intentionally dating much more than blindfolded and hoping that the gods throw, you know, the perfect match at you. Then it is unicorn. Then it is the lottery. But anyway, thank you for showing up. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Have a good weekend. Leave your comments below. Like, subscribe. If you've got a microphone, jump on Gilded. A bunch of us after this stream jump on Gilded and have a bit more of a chat. And yeah, enjoy your weekend and like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Bye-bye.